Live on Dubai I 103.8 Fridays 10 through to 11. Never be the same again. Setting up for the weekend, but also setting you up for life. No matter how small you start as a business owner, especially here in a place like the UAE. There's going to come a time when you'll think about growing or scaling. Some businesses grow faster than others. Others struggle to gain that momentum. Why so? Well, listen, the man alongside me is a man who's been part of the Virtuzone plan for quite some time. PB Paul, Virtuzone, as we know, started small, as so many organisations do, but your boss, Chairman Neil Petch, and the other partners definitely had big plans for the business. How did it scale quickly? What's the VZ story when it comes to scaling?
Relatively quickly. We've made mistakes as well, as everyone does. It started a small office in JBR with 3 people, and I remember I was working with a competitor at the time, and we were saying these guys are never going to last, right? Because they were originally selling Fujairah product in Dubai, and we thought this isn't going to work. Dubai went like this, and it's just growing from there. And we made a couple of mistakes along the way. I've seen forced growth, okay, where we predicted market trends, overemployed, then had to scale back, and then naturally let it grow. So we've made all the mistakes, and then at the start of the year successfully exited to private equity. So we've done all right, okay, but and we've also seen clients make the mistakes. So I think we're quite a good barometer, right? And if you come and see us, we can say, maybe you don't want to do that. You want to naturally grow. We normally encourage people to dip their toe in the water, test the market, check for a proof of concept or a minimum viable product, and then grow naturally. Don't overdo it in the beginning, when you're moving in from another market.
Interesting. Let's see if that's the same case for our 3 special guests here this afternoon. A good old round table of entrepreneurs and founders coming together to give their thoughts. We start with someone who started a first car wash business back in Belgium. It doubled its value. Exited, now building her second venture here in the UAE. It's a warm welcome to the creator of My Car Care, Maria Pruna. Maria, great to see you this morning. Thanks so much indeed for being with us. Tell me a bit more about My Car Care. What's the elevator pitch?
Thank you so much. So basically, our car wash offers all the types of services you would potentially find in any sort of car wash in Dubai, meaning polishing, interior, exterior, cleaning, detailing. We offer everyone high-quality products, mostly done in Europe. So basically, we make sure that our customers receive the quality that other car washes don't index on. And we offer also a mobile van car wash that can go around in Sharjah to ensure that everyone has access to clean cars.
Love it. Great to have you with us here. And in keeping with the ethos of the show, not one, but 2 Marias for us. We have scaled the Marias for you here today because also joining us, we've got Maria P, who has just talked about My Car Care. But what about the founder of MV Careers, career hub that helps students, professionals and women returning to the workforce, podcaster, solopreneur, scaling her services across the UAE. It's a warm welcome to the show to Maria Vittoratos, who joins us live in the studio. Maria V, thanks so much indeed for joining us. Good to have you on board.
Thank you. I'm impressed. You said my surname perfectly.
Well, that's the first I'll take it that time. From now on, it's Maria V, okay?
Actually, you can call me Miss V. That's what everybody calls me.
Miss V, okay, I love that. Okay. Miss V, great to have you with us. MV Careers, give us the elevator pitch.
It's pretty basic. I'm building a mindset shift across the UAE. I am building career programs for educational institutions, and I designed and developed a plug-and-play career program that releases teachers from any type of prep and helps career counselors actually have one-to-ones.
Absolutely amazing to have you on the show. Thanks so much indeed for being with us. We got Maria P, Maria V, or Miss V, I should say. And we've also got Haider Al joining us as well. Listen, he's the co-founder of Maiz Tacos. Yeah, I know your ears are pricked up there. Everyone likes a bit of Maiz. Started out as one of the most successful food truck businesses here, now massive and strong restaurant brand. They've also got a Good Burger, amongst others. Co-founder is, of course, Haider Al Assam, who joins us live in studio. Haider, good to see you. As always, thanks for being on board.
Thanks for having us.
Explain to the world the story behind Maiz Tacos. What sets you apart?
We're just a community-driven brand, homegrown, serving premium ingredients, and we just want the best for our customers. And we have other brands as well, like you mentioned, Good Burger, and a few other small ones. And we just want to be a place where people come in, feel comfortable, and have the best food possible.
Where are you at in terms of growth at the moment, Haider? A question we'll put to all of our special guests this morning. I mean, again, we just heard the sort of VZ story in terms of where they've got to from where they are now. Where are you at now, and what's next when it comes to scaling?
So, as you mentioned, we started as a food truck, starting small, low risk, and then gradually, as we saw the brand build, we opened JLT, our first location, and then after that, Dubai Hills. So we have 2 brick and mortars, and we have 2 delivery kitchens as well, one in Rashdia and one in Business Bay, so that we can deliver to most of the Dubai. And then we are now looking at our first location for Good Burger, actually. It's been a delivery brand since its inception, and hopefully in other Emirates in the future for Maiz Tacos.
Maria, or Miss V, as I should say here. Maria, in terms of your background, it's really interesting here. I mean, you're a career coach. So again, I suppose when you're talking about scaling, it's scaling your business, but it's also scaling other people's careers as well at the same time. What's your sort of... Is there a secret sauce about becoming a career coach these days in terms of, can one plan to become a career coach? What sort of clientele are you speaking to at the moment?
So I think what we need to make clear is that the term career coach, that's like a trending keyword.
Yeah.
It helps people understand what exactly they can expect from the service. But in terms of my own growth, in terms of how I became this professional that deals with career development, because that's essentially what I'm doing, is education. So I started my career as a K-12 teacher.
Yep.
In fact, I started in nursery schooling. And through that time, the use of education and the conversations that I was having with parents and children, and then in my first venture of entrepreneurship, in having conversations with mothers who were telling me that their teenagers were not ready for life after graduation. That's how I found my way into it. But the term career coach, coaching is a tool, it's a methodology that you use with clients. It's not the one size fits all. So you'll have individuals calling themselves a coach, and that's from their training. But I use career coach because, hey, it's what the algorithms are going to pick up on, and it helps clients understand what they can expect. But I'm an educator at the core. I design education programs, and every client I work with, whether it's a woman returning to work or a teenager discovering and making informed choices before graduation, or a university student entering in the labor market, I educate, I design programs that help them build strategy, and I basically teach them a life skill that will take them throughout their life. So,
Hang on, sorry, I got to put my mic up there.
Yeah. What made you want to do that? What made you say, I'm going to pivot into this?
I love that question. I would say that it was a few different things that kind of happened. I didn't wake up one day and say, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur. I realized that I had reached the glass ceiling within an institution. And one of my key leaders that I looked up to told me that if I left the institution, I was going to enter into career catastrophe as an educator. It was that point that I realized the work that I do is not something that you do to get students to university. It is a life skill. And all you need to do is speak to, or all I, turned to was these conversations I was having with 50-year-olds who were being forced into early retirement because they lost their job either through the pandemic or even before that in the 2008 crisis. And I realized that the thing that was missing, the common denominator, was people were falling into jobs.
We had a lot of that during the pandemic. I've seen so many people starting businesses. They just needed a push, right? Most people needed a push, and losing their job in the pandemic was just the push that they needed. And so many of them now say, why did I not do this 10 years ago? You know, so often I think we do get stuck in jobs and education and then realise that we can pivot.
But it is a big leap, isn't it, Ms. V? We mustn't underestimate that. From the safety of employment to an entrepreneur. Is that something you can consult on with your clients?
Definitely. What we're seeing, the trend right now globally, is entrepreneurship is not something that most people are choosing. It's what they're doing to survive and to remain employable. Through the pandemic or through the crisis of losing your job, turning to entrepreneurship is more about what I'm going to do to keep me going so that I don't lose my sanity. And I feel that that's the trend right now in the clients that I'm working with.
So happy to have you with us throughout the course of the show. It is a show that, of course, we will have a few breaks along the way. None more so than the next one, which is coming away in a few moments' time. The team will be back answering questions, and I am intrigued to hear about this LinkedIn post that has helped see Maria P. Take the world of LinkedIn by storm recently. We'll get the story and the reaction in just a few moments' time. 3 special guests alongside myself and Paul throughout the course of this hour. But we need your thoughts. Get any questions for the team? Get them into us now. You can text us on 4001. You can WhatsApp on 0487155500. Or, of course, give us a call. Zina Zalameya, double Z, is in the house and taking your calls on the same number as the WhatsApp, 0487155500. So get in touch with the show and we will put your thoughts to the team.
This is Starting Up with Virtuzone on Dubai Eye 103.8.
Sponsored by Virtuzone.
Your company on a Friday morning, starting up with our friends at Virtuzone, talking about how to start small as a business, but how to grow, how to scale. Whether you're a career coach like Miss V, a car wash owner like Maria P, or an F&B brand owner like Haider, all bringing their stories to the table, as is the MD of Virtuzone, Mr. Paul Bryson, who's alongside me. Okay, let's get into this, PB. You're growing a business, you see the sales going up, you see the money coming in, the opportunity, the world is your oyster, the opportunity is there to be bigger and better. Do you see businesses scale too soon?
It's not necessarily the business's scale. Sometimes we see the entrepreneurs do what we would say is the wrong things. Don't go out and buy a Rolex and a Bentley straight away. Tend to say, reinvest that money in the business. The other things then come, much more freely after that. But the best thing you could do, obviously word of mouth is fantastic, but the best thing you could do, invest in promoting your business. Like we're doing right now. I'm sitting here, I'm promoting my business. Invest that in promoting your business. And then all the other stuff comes.
Let's get thoughts from the team if we can. Haider, let's start with you. I mean, was there ever a point of hesitation? Was there any anxiety for you when you saw the customers come into the food truck, when you saw the queues building there? You go, okay, hang on, we're on to something here. It's not just me and my wife. We're on to something here. That fear that it might not work out if you make it bigger, if you take it away from the truck concept. How did you get over that?
I mean, yeah, there was always fear. And like when we started the food truck and it was just me, my wife, and 2 other employees, we were doing everything. And we saw people coming, and we saw the same people coming in the week after and building the brand. And, like I said earlier, every decision we've made has not been a huge risk in terms of scaling the business. So when we opened the truck, that went well. A year later, we opened a brick and mortar in Dar Al Wasl Mall. They had a place called Huna, which is an incubator for brands that want to come in and test their concept in a short-term rental, basically. Mm-hmm. And they've done the fit out. You come and do a bit of branding. So again, when we did that, low risk, not much capital injection. Did that for a year and then worked. And then when we built up the brand and people started knowing Maiz, okay, and we've had savings and we've generated enough revenue, then we went and opened in JLT. And again, JLT was not somewhere where the rents were crazy, and we took a abandoned restaurant, basically some failed restaurant before us. A lot of the fit out was there, so we just did a bit of cosmetic changes, changed the kitchen to how we want it. Again, low risk, low investment. Did that, and then a few years later we did a big investment in Dubai Hills. It's we did nice fit out. It's a bigger unit, and that's the way we've done it. So we could have taken bigger risks and maybe we would have been bigger by now, who knows, but we did what's comfortable for us.
Yeah, comfortable, happy with the rate of growth.
It sounds pretty organic,
Very
and that's
organic.
kind of the way that
What, the tacos or
I'm sure both. I'm sure both. But it does sound like the way that you want to do it. I've seen people do the exact same with restaurants where we've got something that's pretty much 80% done, and I just need to brand it a little bit, put in an extra oven, and minimal investment, and then you can always sell the equipment after if you had to, right? Which was what we told them.
I want to get Miss Fee's take on this because, you were talking earlier about sort of building strategy and strategies that work and strategizing and planning things out, etc., goal setting, that personal investment and the evolution of personal brands, etc. Is there a sort of one-size-fits-all strategy for growth, or does it differ depending on the clients that you're talking to?
I think that's a really subjective response. So when I think about the clients that I'm working with, I'm thinking about vulnerable groups of people in key transitional phases of their life, many of which have never been taught how to strategize. Most people fall into a career. A career is a lifelong journey. A job is an occupation. So when we're looking at a one-size-fits-all, it already exists. It's go to university right after you graduate. We know it doesn't work, and that's why I've built this platform, and this is why I do what I do. So I don't believe in a one-size-fits-all. I think in today's very disruptive, artificial intelligence-driven labor market that is competing with job security or this concept of job security, we have to turn away from a copy and paste one-size-fits-all.
Yeah.
And so how do you do that and scale it? You have to really understand the education system. You have to understand the challenges that they're facing within that system. And you need to understand how to compete with luxury items. The Rolex watch might get more attention than investing in your career strategy. So I think being a critical thinker and understanding the problems and being able to merge and bridge the gap is essential when you're helping someone build a career strategy.
And where do you sit on, where would you guys sit on entrepreneurship and encouraging people to be their own boss? I remember being at school and I don't remember what we called the careers advisor, but they just had a list of jobs, right? And you had to choose what you wanted to do. I remember going home and telling my mum, the guy said I should be an air traffic controller, right? And she just looked at me and, oh yeah, that'll be great. But where do you sit in terms of entrepreneurship and steering people down that path?
So I don't steer anybody anywhere, and we have to remember
I need
that.
to choose my words wisely.
Yeah, we have to remember there's a trend right now. Governments are encouraging entrepreneurship. It's not because it's a great thing to do. It's because we can't give you job security. So we have to instill in this entrepreneurial mindset. And so what I'm seeing is more people coming to me because they don't know how to find a job, and they're turning to this idea of becoming an entrepreneur. And I think it's trending. And so in the education system, entrepreneurship has become a degree being taught by an academic who never left the classroom. And that challenges this concept of entrepreneurship, and also further creates challenges with the credibility of a degree. So where do I sit on entrepreneurship? I'm sitting in front of you, a mom, single mom, returned to work, building a business. Am I an entrepreneur? I have an entrepreneurial mindset. Do I, have a product that people can see on a shelf? Absolutely not. I'm building a mindset shift, and I'm creating a movement that this idea of entrepreneurship. I think I'm challenging it.
Maria P., I just want to get your take on this, because for someone who's been there, built a business, seen it grow and doing it again, what's growth look like? Does growth look different here than it did back in Belgium? And does that matter or not?
Totally. Here in the UAE, I've seen that it takes a longer time for people to trust you, especially with their cars. They love their cars too much. So you need to build a personal relationship with the clients, which happens day by day. That's why I decided to create a personal brand around it so that people trust the brand. Especially when you are new on the market and you try to convince them, they always question you. That's why we always try to choose the best products. We try to brand ourselves and position ourselves differently, because what worked in Belgium doesn't work here. That's why we even tiered our products and services. So you have the car wash that can, again, service everyone. We have the van for the busy people, for the people who want to pay the premium to make sure that their cars are always clean in the comfort of their home. And our scaling Think Big idea is to create another separate car wash that will service premium cars, luxury cars. In this way, we have three different categories to make sure that we can cover everyone. In Belgium was completely different. I had detailing in my car wash for high-end cars as of normal cars, and people trusted that we will deliver the same service across.
Listen, we're going to get final thoughts from all three of you in just a few moments' time. We're going to get a piece of valuable advice from our three entrepreneurs to wrap things up down here on the show. In the meantime, if you've got any final questions, get them in to myself and Paul live here on Starting Up with Virtuzone.
Dubai Eye 103.8 traffic.
Sponsored by Yas Island, Abu Dhabi. Stay at iconic hotels and play at record-breaking theme parks. Book now on yasisland.com.
Right, the roads are good at the moment. Gotta love a Friday.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
This is Starting Up with Virtuzone live on Dubai Eye 103.8. We do it each and every Friday morning. Paul Bryson's alongside me. Big PB is in the house from VZ. It's PB from VZ. That should be your DJ name, surely. Yeah. Good to have you with us. And all well down at the good ship Virtuzone at the moment?
Yeah, all good, all good. We're seeing huge influx from UK and Australia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, massive. And actually, Brits overtook, I don't know if you had it on the business breakfast earlier, but Brits overtook Indians yesterday as the buying the most properties in the UAE for the first time. So you can see a huge influx.
Yeah. Now we've got population boom going on at the moment. Your chairman, Neil Petcher's favourite phrase of the day is, I love traffic. He just loves the traffic. He says, you can moan about being stuck in it. But
He's got a lot of favourite phrases.
I suppose, yeah, he can. A man who's scaled a business accordingly, as have our three special guests here today. We've got Maria P., Miss V, and Haider Al Assam, all in studio with us. The co-founder of Maiz Tacos, the founder of MV Careers, and the creator of My Car Care, respectively, all here in studio with us, answering your questions and ours. Starting Up with Virtuzone, talking about starting small, scaling. Businesses don't always have to start with millions in capital. What are some of the most common hurdles that founders face at early stage here in the UAE? We will find out more, but not, though, before we've done Maria P's story. This one is an interesting one because, Maria, as we mentioned earlier, you are literally rebuilding again, building again from the ground, but from in a different geography. What you did in Belgium, now you're trying to replicate it here in Dubai with a twist. But it's this LinkedIn post that caught all of our attention, a post that went viral, and we reckon that many businesses and business owners can relate to it. Maybe you could just share that story with us.
Sure. So basically, I bought the current car wash in February this year, and in May, I arrived in Dubai. And my goal was to create a brand out of it. The easiest way to do that was for me to meet new people and try to present my business idea. So I started networking events. And in one occasion, I was into a networking speed event where a lady I got acquainted with wanted to understand about my business, but for some reason the conversation had a different turn. She started ridiculing my business and my idea. She didn't understand why I wanted to invest in such a small business because she wanted to get some investment of 2 million AD. Despite me trying to convince her that my idea stands and I'm fully trusting it, she kept on, bashing it. Moment in which I realized it was good for us to stop the conversation at that point. However, when I left, I realized this can happen to anyone, especially new business owners, entrepreneurs who have very little trust in themselves and in their business idea. Such a moment can turn you into a person who disbelieves, who doesn't want to try anymore, who wants to give up. So I realized it's best for me to post on LinkedIn so that any other person who has been through the same or is struggling to find the trust to build an idea and to build a business around that could find some sort of inspiration. So I just posted it from one day to the other. It really got viral. I had over 240,000 impressions, 500 comments. People started DMing me saying that they were super impressed by my journey, how I found the strength to move over and to try to, find a way to create a brand around my business despite being brick and mortar and super boring. Because usually what you see here in Dubai is that people love to create more glamorous business ideas, and mine was on the completely opposite of that. So that post for me was a wake-up call that we should also trust the small business owners and give them the floor as well, because irrespective of the size of the business, we all want to scale, we all want to have an impact, and we have the right to also be part of the dialogue.
And a lot of people will, just going back to the capital conversation that we were having there, a lot of people will say, okay, in order to scale, you need big capital as well. You've been there, done that already in Belgium, and I'd be interested to know the sort of capital investment that you've put in. Has it been very different from what you built in Belgium to what you're trying to build here at the moment in terms of capital investment?
Right. So basically, when I sold my business in Belgium, I literally used all that to build a business here. However, I realized that I need to do much more because when we started it, the business had lost a lot of clients because of the quality of the service. I had to invest a lot in rebranding it, refurbishing it, making, for example, the lounge cozy for the clients, the small little details that build trust and a good relationship. So I would say I had to all the savings and everything that we earned from the car wash, I reinvested in it to make sure that it's a successful business overall. And I even wanted to scale it a bit further, offering the van car wash. So all these were investments that I believe should be done in the early stages of the business to ensure it has long-term success. Because one thing to know is we are based in the industrial area 12, where my competitors are next door. So my only reason for building this brand was to stand out and to represent myself in places that they cannot compete. And one of them was actually capital investment, right? And I want to do that in a way that defies the traditional way in which people look at the car wash. I want people to come and feel like they can have a coffee there, they can have a chat, and by doing so, I will bring much more clients and much more curious minds to come and see who is that lady who decide one day to build a car wash.
I think it's important as well, Maria, because of where you're based, that you don't get sucked into competing on price with competitors, right? And that's a mistake that we see a lot, where people do try and compete on price, and often in Dubai it's not about that. You don't need, we know, right? You don't need to be the cheapest. It's all about the service. And once and don't be afraid to pivot the business, because, okay, you're based here now and you're stationary, you've bought one van, you might end up likely that the vans become the way that you deliver the product, and then you cover a much wider area. Same as the food truck, right? You're not in a stationary place. You can be in different markets when those markets are hot, and then you can be somewhere else when they're not. And
Haider, is that something that helps you sort of build the business as well? Everyone says that word of mouth is the best form of marketing in a city like Dubai, etc. In terms of the scaling from food truck to restaurant empire on the horizon as well, Was there a lot of capital investment from the off, or has it been a sort of seeding throughout?
No, so I mean the reason we started the food truck is to minimize capital investment. Me and my wife Luma, we are big foodies, but when we started this, we had zero experience in the F&B world. So we see many people when they open restaurants, huge capital injection. Let me open a couple of branches in a year, and then a lot of times that doesn't go well. So with us, we invested 300,000 to 400,000 dirhams for the food truck. With a consultant, they guided us through the whole process. Started on Kite Beach, and then moved around to different events around town. And then as we built the brand and the brand awareness, and people were happy about the food and kept coming back, and that's when we're like, okay, next round of capital injection is needed. And then we went on and became bigger and bigger.
I think the food truck side is a fantastic way to go, a fantastic way to start, because we've seen right, so many people come here, come up with a great F&B concept, but not rent the correct location, right? Not the same place where they're going to have the footfall. They spend fortunes fitting out the kitchen. Nobody comes there. They don't really have much to sell, right? You can always flip the food truck if you had to sell it at some point, right? I've told clients that. But you can take it to where the people are. You can take it to the beach like you do, and then you can take it to other events in and around, and then you can be based at the Sevens and all that kind of stuff as and when it suits. But the restaurant, you're kind of stuck there. So the food truck's a fantastic way to start in that F&B market. You must be a big advocate of it now.
Yeah, so how does one scale accordingly when yourself is the brand that you're building, much like Miss V alongside us here as well? Because I'm interested again in the investment side of things, because obviously if one's looking to go out on your own, it's investment into your... I'm assuming for a minute you bought a food truck, but maybe a career car or something like that, a career maybe even could be the next way forward. To get the word out. But in terms of the investment, again, was it investment into the infrastructure for your business when you set up in order to help others to get ahead in business?
I think for me, I'm really lucky because the most expensive investment is myself in building the curriculum, in building the programs. But because I didn't need to pay for that. If I had to pay for someone to do what I'm doing, it would be really costly. But I'm able to do that. So my investment is my education and my experience and my ability to develop these programs. But I'm self-taught, so I use programs to build my academy. I've learned how to build a website. I have done my own, SEO training. Obviously, I've bought, I've paid for mentoring, so I invest in that way. And I think the budget that I'm heavily investing into my business is in my learning and being able to train. So I also employ university interns and high school interns as well. I pay them. Some get paid in experience, some get paid in actual, money. And I think that being savvy with how I'm using my capital to reinvest in my business is something that I've learned through time. And also in my ability to speak with entrepreneurs across the globe, I've learned what they've done, what they haven't done, and how to kind of develop myself that way.
Can I ask you a question about it? What's your opinion on undergrad degrees and their importance?
I love that question.
'Cause I'm not convinced on them always.
I love that. So I have to put it.
Did you get one though, Paul?
Pretty much, yeah, we're all right. But I'm not convinced on its importance.
So it really depends on the intention behind the degree. I'm currently finishing up, or I'm midway through my doctorate. So I am an advocate of education, but it's intentional. Every degree that I encourage a woman returning to work or an individual preparing for that next step is always with intention. And it's going to the employer first, understanding what is in demand, what is the upskill, is it a micro-credential that you need, or is it a degree? Unfortunately, between employer and educator, there is that great debate. Degrees are more important. But if we look at the research, just a few days ago, the OECD were live and declared that people with degrees still get paid more. So I think that's a very complex question and would really depend on the type of employment that you're pursuing.
We're going to get more thoughts from the team in just a few moments' time. If you've got any questions, in fact, questions are coming in at the moment, 4001. If you'd like to have your say on the text message, you can WhatsApp on 0487155500. You are locked in with Starting Up with Virtuzone.
I'm Serena Kelly. At an emergency session of the UN Security Council, the UAE is condemned
Own boss.
Right into the last few minutes of Starting Up. We're going to rattle through these. I'll have Casey breathing down my neck any minute now if we take any time from the agenda. But we are talking about how to smart small as a business and how to grow. We'll be speaking to three special guests here in studio. And of course, we've got the team from Virtuzone alongside us. So let's go around the table one final time. I need a little nugget of advice for all of our listeners out there, our would-be entrepreneurs, our worried entrepreneurs, all those that are going through the process at the moment. We've got people that are in it, that have done it, in studio and ready to proffer advice. Maria P. is the owner of My Car Care, car wash business in Sharjah. Maria, you've done it before over in Belgium. You're doing it again here. That question to you, what's the one thing you would have done differently when growing your business, knowing what you know now?
Sure. I would have definitely tried to start collaborations with companies when I first came here because they have the capacity to scale up faster. It's one thing to service, for example, 30 cars at a time rather than one by one because volume counts very much, especially when you are at the beginning. You need cash flow, and if you don't have that, you need to sometimes put out of your pocket. So this is something that I'm currently investing on massively. I'm trying to work with big companies offering our services, but this is my number one tip for everyone. Try to go with the big names, try to convince them, and I'm pretty sure they're going to trust your idea and go along with you.
Good advice. My Car Care, how do people find out more?
Definitely, you can follow us on Instagram. You have my LinkedIn profile, Maria Pruna. Feel free to follow me. Happy to, coffee chat with everyone. I've done this as a tradition, so feel free to reach out anytime.
Miss V's been with us throughout the hour as well, founder of MV Careers. If people want to reach out to MV Careers and find out more, Maria, what's the best way to do that?
Come to my website, mariaviteratos.com.
Get to the website and find out all the latest there. And your piece of advice to those out there knowing what you know now?
Yeah, get clear on what you do and stay away from digital marketing specialists. You spend too much money trying to build your Instagram account. You're not building a business.
It's really great advice. Lovely to have you on board. Thanks so much
you.
Indeed. And of course, the co-founder of Maiz Tacos and Good Burger, amongst other brands, Haider Al Assam. Haider, again, if people want to find out more about you, the team, what you're doing, where you are, where do they go?
On our socials or come down to one of our locations in JLT or Dubai Hills.
And hit me up with your one bit of advice.
I think with experience related to us, I think it's hiring the right people. And that comes on from the most junior to like a restaurant manager. They make a huge difference. And, I know they're not going to be as passionate as we are, the owners, but we try to instill the passion to them as much as we can. And we make them feel that it's their business as much as it is ours. And that motivates them to, to provide better and work harder and give a better service for everybody.
Love that.
Yeah.
All the best to all three of you with your respective ventures. Can't thank you enough for being part of Starting Up with Virtuzone. Final words go to Paul B. Paul, what's your takeaway for the weekend? And it can't have tacos, all right?
Well, tacos
No,
was going to
you
be my
can't have
takeaway
that,
for the
mate,
weekend.
no.
But Haider actually stole my soundbite there. I was going to talk about how it's really important to hire good people. And they're hard to find, right? It's not easy. But my one thing would be then, do your research on the ground prior to launching the business. Don't just speak to friends and family. They have a bias. Speak to people who you don't know. Find out if you have a viable product prior to launching, and then structure the business, get a proper license, do things legally and properly.
potentially through Virtuzone, people. And you can always find out more at
If you want,
VZ on
yeah.
25.8. They've got AI bots doing this, that, and everything down there at the moment. Do reach out to Virtuzone on their socials, on their website, or just pop on down and say hi. Paul, that's it from us for this week. Been good to speak to you. Thanks much indeed for being on board.
Brilliant. Looking forward to it. I think I'm back again next week.
Bring
so,
it, my friends. I'll
have a
be
good
here.
Weekend.
I'll be here. If you missed out on today, or if you'd like to listen back, it's on the podcast. Podcast available straight after the show. Just search for Starting Up with Virtuzone. It's available on all streaming platforms. I'll see you, and alongside him, next Friday, Starting Up with VZ.
News, business, talk, sport.
Dubai Eye 103.8.